Hello and happy Thursday. So, yesterday I did a bunch of the localization stuff off stream. I actually did not finish with this list that I had, although I made a decent amount of progress. There are some rendering issues we've got to figure out. I'm probably going to do these things off stream at this point. So, now if you were to go to weblate.scalaseller.com, and granted, there are a lot of issues here. Why are these here? How do you see the problems? End of line with string. Oh, within string. End of line within string. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix these problems too. I didn't even know these were here. Weblate is showing issues for some strings. Need to figure out why and how to fix them. Anyway, the point was I've got a bunch of different languages here now, and it's AI provided translations for now. Two of the languages are apparently broken. But if you were to click one of these things and take a look at some of the strings here, like we look at, I don't even know how to find, strange. I guess they're all marked translated because I didn't even finish this. But yeah, if we look at the strings here, they're not translated. Oh wait, they are technically, but they're translated by an AI. So like, I have no idea. I don't know German. I don't know if any of these words would be correct, but we can go through them and see what these would look like. Now, why is this here? 10 hours ago and 19 hours ago. Oh, this is, am I in the history tab? No, this is not a history tab. What is going on with this? State empty and state translated. Previous translation? Oh, I think this is the history. I didn't think this was a tab, but yeah, it is. I thought it was just a button. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, so who knows? Who knows how correct those things are? I need to solicit some volunteers at some point. I'll do that eventually. So I want to finish up what we were doing here. Merge my branch and switch to main. Let's do that right now. Oh, and then I also wanted to try this thing that Darkstorm mentioned. AI stats enabled. Hey, Chef Alton. Good morning. Controls whether to enable AI statistics. The gauge represents the average amount of code inserted by AI versus manual typing over a 24-hour period. All right, where's this show up? Oh, it's at the bottom there? I think it's this, which you can't see if the keyboard camera's on. This thing right here. AI usage statistics. AI versus typing average, 0%. Accepted suggestion, 0. Okay, yeah, let's try that out for a bit. Hey, Maya, how's it going? What are we learning today? I do try to keep the today command up to date. Today, unfortunately, is not very descriptive. Okay, so yeah, let's try this out. So merging this. Yeah, I want to tackle a bunch of these little tasks that we have. And I do have a plan. I guess if you looked at the to-do list here, you'd see some things that I'm planning on doing. Merging a PR, maybe planning controller support, figuring out the roadmap. Yeah. One of the things I'm wondering about is today is December 4th. And I want to launch in March. And it's probably going to be like the latter half of the month. So if we just pick a random day here, let's say it's March 17th. It's like we have 3 months and 13 days to hit that point, which is roughly 100 days of time. Now, of 100 days, how many of those are work days? How many are stream days? Whatever, it doesn't really matter. The point is I can't really stretch beyond that unless I push the launch date outside of Q1, which would not be the end of the world, but I really don't want to do that because I just keep thinking if Scala Seller isn't going to do well and there's no world where it does well, spending more time on it is not doing anything for me. Like, I'm going to go translate a bunch of stuff or get translators. And anyway, yeah. So, hey, Smiles of Kobold, how's it going? Thank you for the raid. Welcome in, everybody. How is the undead lawyer? Yeah, we're working on Scala Seller here for anyone who's new here. I'll show a quick glimpse into the game. We're going to be working on a bunch of miscellaneous tasks, though. And not a lot of it has to do with showing the game during that time, unfortunately. But still, so that you can get an idea of what this is all about. It is a laid-back town management game. You hire adventurers. So we got a couple here. Let's get the rogue. And then you can send them into battle. So let's send our rogue and archer into the forest. And they just fight automatically for you. And you can kind of have this in the background as you're doing other things in the town. But when they win this battle, they earn items, which you then go sell in your town. So here we've got a potion for sale, and customers will come by and buy this stuff, and you can use this to build out your town and upgrade your adventures and everything. Yeah, we're getting some money here. And yeah, we got a lot of different locations and bosses and stuff to do in the game and everything else. And yeah, we're just going to be improving stuff. Hey, Riven. Yeah, I hope you had a good stream. Thanks again for bringing your folks here. So the very first thing we're going to do today is merge this. Open PR. So this is finish localization. Finish is in quotes because there's still some leftover work to do, but this PR should represent a code base where basically every single string that needs to be translated is extracted into a .pot file. Experimenting with some movement adjustments to raise the skill floor without lowering the skill ceiling. Oh, so you want it to be harder. Interesting. Yeah. That is not what I'd expect. What was the reasoning behind that? Were players having too easy of a time at the beginning of the game? Is it a must to solve the hard leak code question to apply for big tech? More or less, yes. Yeah. I think big tech is going to test you on leak code and system design and some behavioral questions. And yeah, the leak code is a pretty big portion of it. Hey, Sarah. So finishes in quotes because there's still some leftover work to do. Yeah, this is good. I guess for a speedrunning game, having it be too accessible to newcomers might be a problem. Okay, so I don't want to look through everything here, especially because how many files are modified? 319. Yeah, I'm just going to scroll to random parts of this and see what's happening. New players fell heavily. Oh, you want to lower the skill floor. Okay, got it. Without lowering the skill ceiling. Yeah. Raising the skill floor would mean that it takes more skill to do something. That's... yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable. And I think the more people who can kind of get into the game, the better that would help. Yeah, I think at the high end, probably there needs to be a way to differentiate players, which, granted, I don't know much about the speedrunning portion of that game. I've watched a lot of speedruns for other games, though. And I think, oh man, this is super laggy. Where I've seen speedrunning games kind of die is when there's a lot of RNG and when kind of everything has been figured out and there's nothing new. Because eventually people will kind of just perfect any game. Which is kind of crazy. Especially seeing something like Super Mario Bros. 1 over the years. Hey, Suyash. I'm doing well. How's your day going so far? We're improving the base movement speed, wall run minimum speed, and slide boost, nerfing how strong sliding is. Gotcha. Yeah, it sounds like good changes. Yeah. Are you going to try to like get platforming speedrunners to try the game out? Because I think you could probably pull people from like Super Metroid, Super Mario 64, Odyssey, probably a bunch of other games who they like movement and they're looking for a new game. I think that'd be pretty interesting. Okay, as mentioned, I just want to scroll to random parts here and see what shows up, but it's so laggy that nothing shows up. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Well, let's just check this in. Let's make sure it builds. Oh, it definitely builds because I ran it already to show this off. So far, it's going great. Thing to start tech content creation on a good level. Nice, yeah. Anything in particular? Like a specific topic or reactionary content? I'll collect them with a bigger focus, yeah. Yeah, the other thing that's kind of interesting to me, I don't know how many games are like, how many games out there are targeted almost solely at speedrunners. And I think the closest thing you might get to this are racing games, but racing in itself, like it kind of just is a speed run. So even casual players know that it's a speed run and that you're racing against time or essentially time because of other people. But yeah, it makes me wonder, how does the funnel work for sort of regular games? Because if you, I don't know, if you look at like Super Mario 64, Super Mario 64 had a gigantic funnel in that this was N64 owners. I can't write with this. And then as you went down this funnel, it was like, okay, people who enjoyed getting past, course number 3 or course number 6, and then speedrunners would be way at the bottom where it's like totally narrowed down. But there needed to be that funnel above it to get to the point where all those speedrunners would play. Neon White is North Star. I've seen that game. I haven't played it. I wonder Neon White. I wonder what the sort of casual value prop was for this game, because this did very well. Single player speedrunning FPS where you sacrifice your guns for godlike parkour moves. Okay, so they even advertise it as a speedrunning game. Yeah. And by the way, I'm not trying to say that it would be impossible to make a speedrunning game that gets popular. I'm sure they exist. I'm just not too aware of the niche. Brilliant game. It looks really good. Yeah. And they had voice acted everything. Yeah. I support the casual audience with very friendly metal bars and a core story. Yeah. 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 Man, I was talking about this the other day that I saw Ready Player One. And I like the movie. I think it's good. I haven't read the book. But I think the core of the message for me is about essentially what we've talked about. I'll distill it down to art versus entertainment. And just kind of in general, it's nice to see as a community, everyone's push forward in whatever direction they are pursuing. Some people are more on the entertainment side, some people are more on the art side, and some people are somewhere in the middle. But yeah, if you look around in the software and game dev category, it's like at any point you can see, 30 games being made, 60 games being made. And yeah, it's neat to see how this all plays out. Hey, Grace, it's going well. Hiding leaderboards and milestones from the players, so it's hard to compare yourself with others for a while. Yeah, I've been playing Kirby Air Riders, and one of the things about Kirby Air Riders City Trials Summary, there's a screen at the end. I don't know if I can show this. Yeah, here. There's a screen at the end where you can see how many of each stat you got. So just these numbers. And I was playing online, and these only show for yourself. And I assume it's so that you don't feel bad when you see numbers like 4, 5, 2, and someone else has like slammed up to the maximum on this scale. So yeah, I think there's a lot to the psychology of retaining a new player. And I think some other multiplayer FPS games have commented on this in the past, where if someone loses their first match, they're very likely to just like stop playing forever. They'll never come back to the game. So you kind of have to make them win their first match. But if it's truly a multiplayer FPS, you can't have everybody winning their first match. So there are some like tricks you kind of have to do. Anyway, I find that kind of interesting. Okay, so let's merge this. And then switch to main. And now what is this pointing at? Yeah, it's always going to be detached, I think. I don't like this. I still don't know what to do about this. Skeleseller translations. What is this pointing at? 4903. That's what I'm on. But why does it say detached from 58DC? I don't know. I don't know what that is. What is that commit hash? What does that even point to? Let's just click any commit. Update translation files last week. Oh, maybe that's from when I hadn't branched off yet. Okay, we're probably fine. That's why Fortnite added bots, for example. Yeah. Yeah, and to me, this is one of those things, it's the evolution of game design that makes it kind of harder and harder to make a new game. Like, let's say you wanted to make an FPS right now. And not even, I don't know, not even worry about things like anti-cheat. Like, you just don't even do that, because that on its own is a gigantic problem for most people, I would imagine. You would have to keep all this stuff in mind about, yeah, what is the psychology of a new player? How do we make them feel good? How do we, I don't know, whatever other things you do with FPSs. But you've now got to keep the entirety of game design in your mind of the last 20 years of development. And it's kind of hard to do that. Then you throw things like anti-cheat on top, and it's like, all right, well, now your average indie developer is not going to be able to do that at all. So you have to just pivot the kind of game you make. And yeah, I think that's a little unfortunate. Okay, so there were changes here, and I have not looked at the changes yet. Address most of the things you mentioned. Create a record to hold the keybind action data. Dialog now shows over the keybinds menu. Dialog title shows which action is being remapped. Added duplication detection. This will prevent the user from saving that remap at all. I did that because I think the alternative would lead us to have to unmap action, and that seems more prone to player problems in my mind. Yeah, although one of the things I should look at here is regarding duplication. Do we have a like what's the UX of this? All right, fixed bug with actions being triggered while the dialog is open. Added tooltips to the action labels. Please revise the text. I think we may be able to simplify translations into 2 strings with parameters. Oh man, I didn't think about this either. I need to eventually have some way of translating just in a single string. I'm gonna have to try that out. I guess when it comes to localization stuff. So like Kevin's PR added some strings. I should have a way to run just those new strings through an LLM for each language. I want a workflow for that since it'll be pretty common. Thank you, Smalls. I appreciate it. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. Yeah. Yeah, we are like close-ish to launch, probably about 100 days away. And it just, yeah, it feels like the to-do list never gets smaller. Remove the tooltip from the done button, added a reset all button, added a way to override the string for some keys. Oh, I see. Also made it in such a way that adding translated strings is straightforward if we need to. Did not update shortcuts label text. I'd ask you to take a look. Strings are not translated yet and use multi-line strings. Things like WASD are recognizable, but if a player remaps those, it may look weird. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Needs to be updated. All right, so let's look at the changes since the last review, which is hopefully not too bad. Also, this is 1184. GHPR checkout 1184. Okay, I'm going to just reload the whole project over here. All right, so now how do we find just the ones? Here we go, 12 commits. So keybinds menu, done button. There's now an HBox container, or reset all and done. Okay, that makes sense. And then there's a dialog container. This, I'm not totally sure why this is added, but yeah, there might be a reason for that. I'll take a look. Key meta. Okay, yeah, I think that's good. And what is this? Ah, if we have an override. Okay, sounds good. Reset all overrides. This is a reset all thing. That's good. Cool. Closed. Because now we need an overlay. Oh, that's probably why that new control exists. Center press a key. Okay, this I'm going to translate a little differently. Keybinds menu. In that I think we should have a string like this. Yeah. That way press a key is all that a player sees, or all the translator sees, not the center part. Okay, I think it's good though. All right. Remap state, current mappings. Remapping the name of this thing, okay. Get a tooltip. What do we use that tooltip for? I see. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay. Dialog text update. Dialog text. Here it is. Oh, is there a translate call up here? There is. Interesting. I didn't think about this. I actually am not sure if translate exists on a control. I know it exists on a node. It does exist on a, no, it doesn't exist on a control. Or yeah. It doesn't exist on a control. So we could use translate from a using static here, but we can't when it's a node. All right. Get grid header. What is this? Given text, return the text in here. BB code enabled. Okay, so it's giving us a new rich text label. Yeah, I want to change how these things are done too. Yep. Yep. Good. Good. Cool. Yeah, that way just the word is translated and not the formatting. And in this particular case, I think it makes sense not to have the formatting show up in the translation. Anything else we have? Hey, Josie. What's up? Nothing too much. Spent a lot of time yesterday off stream working on the rest of the translation stuff, which was mostly just guiding an LLM. I have no idea what the quality of those translations are going to be at first. So I am heavily going to rely on people helping out. Yeah. Currently mapped to. Sounds good. Okay. Yeah, I think this stuff is fine now. Okay, and I'll try this out in a bit too. Normally I don't look at the code first. In fact, I'm not sure why I did right now. So now all of this is going to be in one data blob. Yeah, here. Keybind action data. Keybind action data. Man, this space being here all the time is definitely weird. Gotta talk to Kevin about that. Hey, Dad Walking. I've been using agentic code to supplement my work for months now. I picked up a few tricks. Yeah, like what? Open and close the main menus panel. Open or navigate to the skill tree tab in the menus panel. Town perk. Okay, I'll need to run the game for this. But yeah, I need to look through keybind action data. I'll just write this down for now. Look through this to see if the translated strings are good. Yeah, okay. Have the agent output a summary MD file to a directory that I can refer to in future sessions. Acts as a living document that I have the AI update as we go along. Yeah, I think there are probably quite a lot of things to learn when it comes to just incorporating this into your daily workflow. And probably the easiest way is just having an AI thing running alongside you, suggesting things as you go. In fact, I actually just enabled this morning. There's got to be a better way of showing this. Okay, let me just take a picture of this. So there's a new, oh my God, there's a new thing at the bottom that I turned on here, AI usage statistics. This is AI versus typing average, 11%, accepted 4 suggestions today. So this is supposed to figure out like how much of the code are you typing is done by an AI. And in this case, the thing I just changed here, so we had this code. No, we didn't, sorry. we had this. So this is the before and this is the after. And all I did is I moved the formatting outside of this translate call. And then I wanted to do that 3 or 4 more times. And AI just did it for me. It's like there's no thought that has to go into this for me. It's just move the text around. So it's like, okay, yeah, that simplified this for me. I think it's nice. Anyway, then from there, it's like, okay, yes, using a chat bot or an agent And then, yeah, what techniques do you layer on top of that? How much do you have LLMs check each other? And are you torn over there thinking about all the kappas you're going to miss out on? I am torn Xylodex. Hey, happy chappy. My might be up to like 80%. It's happening. Okay, so wait, where did I leave off? I think this is the last file. I'm not actually sure. No, there's more. So what is this? Keybind data and keybind manager. Okay, keybind manager and keybind data. So let's look at this. Provides a mechanism to serialize custom keybinds that players set by converting to and from input event types. Okay. I believe this code was moved from somewhere else. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, it was here, I think. And then keybind data changed, but kind of just slightly. So it seems like things shifted around here. All right, I should try this stuff out. Hey, Filler. Also used it recently to help me understand where to make some changes. Oh, yeah, that's true too. Yeah, understanding things I think is really good. Or asking questions about a code base, or at least nudging you in the right direction of where does this happen. And yeah, I understand, Filler. And thanks for dropping by. Hi to you too. Always verifying the suggestions it provides. It's honestly on point quite a bit. Yeah. Yeah, it's impressive sometimes when it just makes a change without you really having to do very much. And Josie, thanks for the bits. Yeah, what was kind of crazy to me is every once in a while you see there's some website called, I think, like Hacker Type or something. Yeah, fake coding. So you click this and you just press things on your keyboard. Whoops. Okay, hold on. That was I think I pressed too many things on my keyboard. Let's just press one key on my keyboard. Yeah, so you just press a key on your keyboard or a couple keys and it'll type out a bunch of code. And that way, if you're whatever, trying to impress a friend or you're on an airplane or something and want to look like you're a hacker, you could do this. Anyway, I was watching the LLM type out a bunch of different translations yesterday, and it's going through like an 1800 line file, just typing. And it felt like that, except for this was getting actual work done. So it is kind of crazy to see. All right, let's try running this. And then I want to test this out and see what the UX is like. I do want to figure out controller support too at some point. I think there's going to be hopefully some shortcuts we can take. All right, so if I open this, edit the keybinds used to perform actions in the game. All right, increase camera zoom, decrease camera zoom. So yeah, all this stuff shows up here, and that's good. Because reset is up at the top, we should probably put a tooltip for the reset button. I can do that myself. Add a tooltip for the reset button, since you can scroll down in the page and not see what the button is for. And make sure any scenes with translated strings have the auto translate mode set correctly and the scene added to the project.cadeau. Like it's talking to himself. Yeah, very neat to see. Okay, so let's try this. We're going to try setting this to X. So remapping zoom in, I press X. It says currently mapped to panel. Okay, we should probably change that slightly. Cannot use. Where does that show up? Where does that show up? Event, I get display text. It is currently mapped. All right, yeah. Oh my God, I cannot type. Going on there. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, so this is a PR that Kevin did for keybinds so that we can remap the controls in ScalaSeller. And when you use a key that's already here, like panel is set to X. So now if we try setting this to X, cannot use X. It is currently bound to panel. I want them in bold. And I also maybe want this in like an error color. Do we have an error color? Linen, saddle brown, dark green. No, we don't. Okay, well, that's fine. Because, yeah, I wonder if we should just render this in red or dark red or something. I think we already kind of use red text for this anyway. Don't we? Yeah, it's like a reddish color. Cannot. Maybe we should say, yeah, cannot bind X. Remapping. Remap state value. It's currently bound to 2. This is not necessarily going to be defined, right? So what defines this? No, we know that it's defined here. And here we only say, oh, interesting. Oh, this is underscore remap state. Okay, I think this one then. Remap state action. Yeah. I'm just gonna keep messing with this stuff. I just want to keep improving this very slightly and just seeing if it's kind of the UX I expect for this. I accidentally closed both of those, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Cannot bind X to zoom in. It is currently bound to panel. Okay. Okay, so I think it's good. Let's try binding it to something different, like period. Yeah, so I hit confirm, and now we go out of here. It still says you have unsaved changes. Oh, we can't move this around now. Whoa, what is going on? Could you ever move this, I wonder? So if I hit undo, what happens there? Yeah, it's still bound. You can move this, but you can't move this one? I think something is getting in the way of this. Yeah, strange. Something's consuming. Yeah, something's weird. Very minor issue. This dialogue is not or cannot be moved after you try backing out of making keybind changes. And also the save settings dialog doesn't actually let you undo. It shouldn't even pop up since it has no effect whatsoever. Basically, I think we need to take this out of the hash that we have. Where is that? Be nice if this actually just searched for hash and not haste. There it is. Yeah. So we add in, I think keybinds in here somewhere. Yeah, right here. And I don't think we should. Probably shouldn't add the keybind data to the hash in local save data. All right. Hey, Kevin. What are you breaking today? I'm merging the PR that you made. The only thing, okay, there's something that's kind of weird here. So, okay, let's say I make a change. Oh, interesting. That's also a problem. Well, maybe it's not a problem. When you try binding a key that is already used, it shows the error. Or when you try binding, so suppose X is bound to zoom in and you modify zoom in to try setting it to X, it will give you an error even though it probably shouldn't. That's not the issue I was trying to show you, though. The issue I was trying to show you is, okay, let's say we do this. We rebind this to K, and then I click out of here and then click out again. This shouldn't pop up because neither of these has a purpose. So I think we just need to take this out of the hash. And if that's all we have to do, I can just do it myself. But the other thing that's weird about this is you can't drag this dialogue for some reason. You can drag this dialogue. So I'm not sure why you can't drag this other one. And it's not a big deal. I don't care about this. I just wonder why it's the case. Like, no one should have to drag this, but yeah. Okay. So I have a controller on my desk, and I don't know how I can use this with Skeleseller. I probably have to plug this into the computer because otherwise I'd need Steam, I think. I'll worry about that later. Okay, what else do I want to try? So UX to this one, I just want to save whatever I have. Yeah, so I see. It doesn't let you modify this, which I think is fine. Camera right, yeah. Okay, and if I reset this, it goes back to plus. So what happens if I change this to K, and then this to X, and then this reset? Now I have two things bound to X. So that's probably an issue. You can do this. Set zoom in to K. Change anything else to plus. Reset, zoom in. At this point, two things will be set to plus. Purposely disable drag on them. We could change it, but then we need to pass the title screen or town dialogue or instance of the segment. Yeah, that's not a problem. I was just curious about that. Okay. But yeah, I think as far as that dialogue showing up in the first place, I think we should probably just get rid of this code here, is my guess. Because the keybinds are saved immediately, right? So they shouldn't have an impact on this hash. But I'm not certain that's accurate. Okay, so there is a reset all. There is no confirmation on this reset all. And it is enabled even when there's nothing that it would reset, which I don't necessarily think is a problem. But yeah, if we were to change this to something else and then click reset, it'll just change it. And there's no backing out of this. And that's probably a little bit strange. Should maybe ask for confirmation. They should revert if you hit undo. Oh, they do? Wait a second. I tried something again and it seemed like it was weird. What else am I going to write here? It's also enabled even when it won't do anything. But that's not a huge deal. Okay, so hold on. Let me back out of everything here. So we go into this, edit keybinds. We set this to K. I hit confirm. I hit undo. Yeah, it is no longer K. And if I undo from here, it is still no longer K. Okay, so it does respect this. So then, yeah, what I was talking about doesn't matter, I think. If I hit reset all, does that happen? Undo. Okay, no, never mind. Then yeah, this is fine. I swear there's something I'm doing. This is not what I expect. And I don't know what it is. So maybe this isn't the case. Actually, the undo changes thing works. So maybe we shouldn't ask for confirmation. I was wrong about this, or there's a bug and I can't repro it. Okay, so let's put everything that doesn't need to be done next to each other here. There may be some race condition, but I can't tell where it would be. Or I'm just mistaken about how this is working, and I'm just not paying attention well enough. I don't know. So if I hit undo here, I didn't actually hit undo. Undo. Still set to comma, yeah. And if I back out of this and hit save, it should now be set to K. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably just wrong about that. All right, so this seems fine. Add a tooltip for reset. I think we add reset buttons on the fly here. Reset. Oh, it's not. I mean, this is. Wait, what? Oh, no, no, not what I want to do. I want to go find the reset button here. This reset button. And we want to add a tooltip. Tooltip on parent. Add to node. Tooltip. Okay, let's try that. I think saying keybinds there is weird. But that was just something the AI typed. And this doesn't work because I need to say where this tooltip shows up. No, that should be fine. Node tooltip text content. The node is a reset button. The tooltip is this tooltip. And let's just say hello here. There wasn't a problem making that string though, so strange. Or maybe this needed to have been added to the scene already. It's probably the latter. Yeah, it's probably the latter. So we probably just need to move this like that. And now I think it might work. No. What am I doing wrong? It's an icon button. Maybe icon button is not compatible with a tooltip. I don't know why that would be the case. Although it is possible. Mouse entered. Update modulate is mouse over. No, that stuff seems fine. Oh, maybe tooltip on parent can't work on an icon button? The other way around? Yeah, so this is if the parent is a control or if it's a collision object. Icon button is... Oh no, icon button is a control. What is going on then? What am I missing? Tooltip on parent. Let's put a breakpoint here. And then... I guess quit and re-enter. So it should break in. Yep, it does. Oh, but this is going to break in for everything. I want to break in when we get to this. There. Yeah, so now here we are. Now we go into this. Add to node. Add child. And then on ready, this is going to happen. This is on the tooltip on parent. Yeah, so we're here. And now the parent.name should be, yeah, it's an icon button. So we set up it's on hover. Sounds good. Set text and content. Text should be correct, right? Hello, yes. What am I missing then? What am I missing? Huh. I'm so confused. And we do the same thing up here and everything's fine. Breakpoint and on hover. Yeah, I'll do that next. Very bizarre. And it's going to happen on even the settings button. So I got to turn this off for now. And then go into this. And then set this again. And then hover over. Oh, there's another button in the way. Let me just move this off screen. All right. So now we got to get over to here. Huh, it's not being hit. Yeah, strange. On hover is not being hit because we're adding it on mouse entered. And icon button shouldn't do anything about this though. And we're already even using mouse entered in here, aren't we? Yeah, well, it's on the button. Okay, maybe that's the issue. Yeah, that is the issue. We got to add this on the button within, not the icon button. But why is that not a problem for settings, I wonder? All right, so where's this happening? Do we have the button public? No. All right, how does this work on the title screen? This is an icon button. Where are you? Settings button. What are you? Type button. No, it's not an icon button. It's a button. So we've never done this before. Unless this is an icon button. This is an icon button. And it doesn't have a tooltip? Ah, it has a tooltip under the button. Okay, okay, okay. So then, does every icon button work like that? It must. No, it doesn't. It doesn't must. Oh man. Did we add that in here? Yeah, we added it in underneath this. Okay. So then we have a couple of different ways we can do this. Hey, Mohit Kumar. I'm doing well. Yeah, Chahu. I am working on some post-localization stuff that I feel like there's an endless stream of these sorts of tasks. Check the instance slot scenes. Those have icon buttons, right? Instance slot. Yeah, but they probably, okay, since they're probably done just like this, that a tooltip on parent was added right there. So instance slot. There's a top bar, isn't there? Toolbar. There it is. Yeah, they were just added in directly. So if we're going to do this dynamically, we need a way to either add them dynamically. So we have like option one is make a reset button.tscn that has the tooltip. And option number two is allow adding a tooltip on parent to an icon button through code. I mean, I know some Hindi. And I do not speak a lot of it. It's mostly just my wife who talks at me in Hindi. So whatever her vocabulary is, I know a portion of that. Icon button, not get node button. Yeah, yeah. I could make this public, or I could have like an add tooltip to this. I want to see what I prefer here. This is if it's a control, add the stuff here. Set the mouse filter to pass. I don't know if we even need to do that. So we can have an else if and set the mouse entered on. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is just public void, like add tooltip on parent. Tooltip on parent. Tooltip on parent. I don't know how exactly this is going to work because I haven't thought about this yet. But if parent is icon button. But these are private. This isn't going to work either. I guess we could just have a get button here. But I don't like that idea. And yeah, we could make these things public, I guess. I think it needs to be the first clause in the if. Oh, yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. There. Otherwise it would match wrong. Yeah, for this to work, I think we need to make these things. I should just have a way to get the button. Fine. But then if I'm gonna do that, I might as well just make this public. Where is it even saved? Button with custom children has it? Yuck. Yuck. All right, so this becomes public. This becomes a no, this is still a private set. And then this moves up. And then we just change this. Copy, paste. And this is icon button dot button. Okay, let's try it now. Yay. Yay. Oh man. All right. Then no need to change tooltip on parent. From the keybinds menu, you can do reset button up button. Yeah, you're right. Although I think it's not going to be obvious if we ever add this to a future icon button, how we did this. So yeah, that's now the new question here. Do we do this or do we do this? Because the other thing we could do if we're going to do the thing that Kevin suggests, we could just say throw new exception here and say like do this on dot button. But I don't think I like that. Hang on one second. Okay, cool. Something I complained about 2 weeks ago is being handled. Yay. All right, so what do I want to do for this? I think this is fine. Yeah, I think I like this. Keybind menu. All right, instead of hello, this can say reset to default, and it can be translated. Okay. The only reason I'm doing this is because you can scroll down here and then wonder what is this thing. It should probably tell you what the default is too. Yeah. All right, let's be nice. Reset to default. Okay, now how do we know what the default name is? Let's go look at reset. Reset overrides. Apply override new. Yeah, we need to figure this out. Maybe we can just call get mapping on it after it's been reset. Default actions. Okay. Keybind manager. Default actions. Default mappings action dot display name. No, how do you... What does this return? Returns a keybind mapping data. Oh, I see. I need to print it for both keyboard and mouse and for joypad. I do think it'd be nice to do this though. Oh man, okay. Let's do that. Keyboard and mouse dot value dot action. No, what's in here? Get text? I don't know how we do this. I actually don't. I'm not going to do this. let's not. It's not worth the effort. So much for that. Yeah, you can always just click it and find out. All right, so how do I feel about this problem where you can change this to a plus, let's say? Oh, shift equal. And I have a plus sign. I don't have a plus sign. No, I don't have a plus sign. Anyway, you can change this to something else. Yeah, F. And then you can change this to X. And then you can reset this, and now they're both mapped to X. I wonder if we should do something about that. We probably should. No, I don't think this is necessary. It's not important at all. What do we do about this though? What would you even expect it to do? Would you expect reset to fail? Or to unbind this? Should we even have individual reset buttons? That's kind of curious. Individual reset buttons. It lets you get into this state. Yeah, I don't know what should even happen. Expected to highlight red to indicate a conflict. Yeah, but then that means you can be in a conflict state. Should we prevent you from getting into the conflict state? So here's the problem. So option 1 is highlight the conflict red. the player would then have to fix the conflict. Option 2 is prevent the reset button from working. Option 3 is reset both shortcuts. This would have to be done until there are no conflicts. You can have key or like action 1 be bound to A, action 2 be bound to B, action 3 be bound to C, and then resetting 3 could change 2, which could change 1. I wrote this very stupidly, but anyway, that. Option 4, get rid of the individual reset buttons. What else do we have? Prevent this from working, reset both shortcuts, get rid of the buttons. I don't know if there's any other solution that I have for this. Yeah. Are you here every day now? Yeah, I changed the schedule a little while ago, so the Tuesdays and Thursdays I stream in the morning. I suppose you can prevent clicking OK or save with conflicts. Yeah, I think I'm leaning toward option 4. Like, I think this dialogue should be pretty simple. Scalaseller is not some, like, you know, turbo sweaty FPS where, yeah, you want to customize these things, get, you know, maximum optimization out of this. There aren't even that many keybinds. So I think maybe having reset to default is like, well, you have reset all. And if you want, you could change this to whatever. You could change this to, I don't know, N. And then you just click reset all to see what it should be. And then undo the changes and go back. And now that you know this should be plus, you can change it to something else. You know, maybe change it to apostrophe or something. Could allow duplicates and just display a warning when closing. Yeah, that's another thing we could do. Option 4 or option 5, allow duplicates and just display a warning. It's kind of like option 1B here, I suppose. But yeah, like I said, I think I'm leaning toward this. It simplifies the UI. I'm not sure how many people even want to reset a single thing here. And you'd be resetting it for both of these. That's another thing that's kind of questionable. Like, shouldn't the reset button be over here, maybe? Yeah, actually, that would work out best, I think. We could have like a confirm, a reset to default in the middle, and then a cancel. And that way, when you click reset to default, it would just be like you press the key to begin with. And if it says cannot bind it, it's already bound, then you'd have to fix the error now. Okay, that could potentially work. Move reset to default into the mapping dialog. This would also let you reset keyboards separately from joystick. Yeah. So, okay, I think this is the solution. Well, actually, option 4 or 6, I think would be fine. I'm still not sure. If we have a reset all, I don't know if we need reset buttons anywhere. And resetting this to the default. We don't have defaults, right? Yeah, we don't have defaults for, well, we have defaults for this stuff, I guess. But I don't have a controller plugged in, so I can't change this. Let me see if I can plug in a controller. Do I have a USB-C cable here? Let me take a look. Yeah, there's one. Aha. Okay, so let's plug this in. Okay, it looks like it's on. Hey, nice. Okay. So we can set this to something. And then reset it. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. All right, which one sounds better? Of just 4 or 6? I think 6. I mean, we already have the logic. It shouldn't be that hard to do. Yeah, okay. I think I'm gonna, yeah. Okay, then I will leave some comments over here. Thank you all for chiming in, by the way. Okay, so thank you for addressing this. Have a small round of new comments. So we should move the reset button for individual keybinds into the dialog, remapping dialog. This is for 2 reasons. One, it works around an issue where you can set zoom in to X or zoom into K, then change panel to plus. Then reset zoom in and have 2 keybinds mapping to plus. And 2 is this lets you reset either keyboard or controller individually. All right, so there's that. So this is going to be already mentioned here. This tooltip for this is going to get deleted, so this doesn't matter. So should I even save my code about adding this for icon buttons? Probably not. Yeah, probably not. I'll just revert this. Revert that one, revert that one. Revert this. This I still have to look at. This I'm going to check in. Yeah. This doesn't exist anymore. Oh, and then I want to look at that text. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so this is going to be clarify duplicate mapping error message. And then we have this, which is move where formatting happens. Move formatting outside of translate call. Hey, Flair. Number 6. All right, make sure any scenes with translated strings. Yeah, so where does that happen? And how do we even do this? I should probably merge in main at this point. I know Kevin did this before, but I just merged main this morning myself. So get just gpom it. I don't want to rebase if we can just merge. So let's just do that. You have divergent branches. Okay, fine, let's rebase. Well, actually, I guess let's try no rebase and see what happens here. Where is there a merge conflict? Oh, there is no merge conflict. That was it? Could not read from merge message, no such file or directory. Excuse me? Okay. Hey, Malbec. How'd the rest of the AI translating go? I think it went well, but again, I have no way to validate it. So at some point, I'm going to reach out to people. I still have to write some more instructions. I still have to fix some things up. I still need to, yeah. The more I think about this stuff, the more I think we've got about 100 days until launch. I don't know the exact launch date when we're going to launch, but we got about that much time until I'm going to miss my deadline. And then how many of those days should I be working? Like, do I need to add weekends to my schedule? And I think the answer should be no from a policy perspective. But from a realistic perspective in terms of launching the game, like, can I launch? Can I do this? So I don't know. That's on my mind. I realize it's been about an hour already. I should go take a break, and then I want to finish writing this. So where I left off, gotta write up these notes into the PR and make any other changes I wanted to make. All right, I will take my break now. Is it jump time? It's jump time. . Hello again. Hey, Hoisini. Close the game. All right, make sure any scenes are translated strings. Yeah, so I merged this in, and now we got to go take a look and see all of the changes here. I don't want to lose my comment. Files changed. All right, so we got to look through any of these, and any ones that aren't already listed in here. So reload project. And then close out of this. All right, so game settings menu is already there. Keybinds menu can't be there because it's new. But should it be there? Game keybinds, yeah, probably. Reset all, done, yeah. So this needs to be added to the translated strings, I guess. Is there anything else in there? Keybinds menu. And this says game keybinds in the game. Like we don't dynamically change that. I can't imagine that we do, but I know there are headers just below that say keyboard and joypad and whatever. Yeah, it says game keybinds and that's all there still. Yeah, cool. Okay, so no labels that are dynamic. Good. Then we just add this in here. Keybinds menu, which lives in scenes. Keybinds menu. Good. Okay. So that one's done. Any other scene files? Let me just search for star.tscn. No, that's it. Okay. So this one's done now. It changed instance slot. I'm reverting this. I don't care what this did. Instance slot and the TRES file. Battle strings didn't exist. Okay, well that should be checked in on main, I guess. Yeah, I'll revert that. Project.godot. So this adds in the new file here. Add keybinds menu.tscn to pot generation. Okay, suppose X is bound to this, and you try setting it to X, it'll give you an error when it probably shouldn't. Oh yeah. Just silently allow you to set it. Zoom in is already bound to. Wait. We should just. I should just use an example that's easier because panel's bound to X by default, and we press this and press X. Yeah. If you try rebinding an action to what it is already bound to, setting panel to X, it will give you an error. All right, so that's done. Look through this, see about the translated strings. Yeah, so where's that? Keybind action data? Okay, let's read this. I guess I could just read this in the game. Increase camera zoom, decrease camera zoom, open and close the main menus panel. All right, what would I call this if I were a player? Yeah, that's probably reasonable enough. Main menu, open or navigate to the skill tree tab in the menus panel. Skill tree tab. T doesn't even work until you have the tutorial done, I think. And technically it goes to the adventurers. Yeah. Translate adventurers. Open or navigate to the adventurers tab in the menus panel. Yeah. We should probably use this everywhere. Open and close the menus panel. Similar you did yesterday for buttons. Yeah, I'm not sure what I want to do for that. For now, I just want to come up with some strings. Then we can figure out if we want to make it look a little bit better in a bit. So let's say adventures. This is perks tab in the menus panel. Maybe to the battle map tab, that's fine. Open the buildings menu. Navigate to town perk tab in the perks panel. All right, we have a problem there because this is only for bone mode and players won't even know that bone mode is a thing. Oh, man. Yeah. In fact, all 4 of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, these are all going to have to, these are like specific to bone mode. Town perk tab. What does it look like? Town perks. Yeah, I guess same thing. Yeah, just do this. Level up perks. Do we have town perks and then build and hire? Build tab, open the build tab, and hire tab. Open the hire tab. Yeah, so now all of these, this only works in bone mode. And ideally we should arrange these such that you're not confused by these. Like put them in a different section maybe. Anyway, next perk tab, previous perk tab. How are these arranged? Yeah, how do we lay these out? Because this is a dictionary. And it looks like it's in the order of things in the dictionary, but that would mean that I have to have ordered keys. I think it's not the perks panel. It's by or by perks based on enumeration order. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we should set previous first, I think. And then these we should probably set down below. Because this is for a mode that otherwise people might not have. Not the perks panel. It's the buy panel, yeah. Where is that? I don't know if we even need to say where this is. Yeah, we can just say adventures tab, battle map tab. To whichever tab you opened last. Yeah. Maybe to the next tab. This is here that this works. And also somewhere else. I think in perks as well, in normal mode. So if I go to continue over here and show signs and click that and that. Yeah, it works here too. Navigate to the next tab. Perk or purchase tab. I don't think it's going to be clear. Like here, it's a perks tab, and you navigate back and forth. And here, it is the buy tab. Yeah. All right, well, maybe we just say perks or buy tab. In the perks or buy tabs. Menus, maybe? I don't know. All right, let's keep looking through these, though. So after that, camera left, camera right, camera up, camera down. That's all fine. Action modifier. Perform alternate actions when using some controls. This is not clear. I think we only use this for the quick move menu. I'm not actually sure. Oh, no, it's also for the instant slot thing. Okay. But why don't I see this show up for the quick move menu then? I think we hard coded that to shift. I don't know where that is though. Is the next action? Oh. Okay, so action modifier, we should probably just change. Alternate actions. Apply. This is for battle windows. You can hold this key while changing the window size or docking setting to apply to all battle windows at once. Show the item action menu. Show the quick move menu when holding an item. That's what we call it, right? Quick move menu. Yeah, I think so. Drat. I need to be in story mode for this. Quick move menu, yeah. Yeah, all these should change, I guess. Oops. Good. Okay, so let's run this. Man. Yeah, so now this expands the whole thing. I almost wonder if we should word wrap this column. But I guess getting rid of the reset button will make this look a little bit better too. Because yeah, what I'm concerned about is if you're on a smaller screen, this is now going to take up a lot of space. But yeah, we'll get rid of the reset button. All right, town perks tab. Cool. So I think we're good now. So if I try setting this to F1. Oh, interesting. It just says 1. Oh, that's because I'm pressing 1. All right. And we change the order of these things. Whoops, I definitely don't want that on. Yeah. I almost wonder if the camera controls should be first. Yeah, I think so. Or at least put all the camera controls next to each other. So this is keybind actions. There. Then we get to the other ones. Whoops. So camera controls, more camera controls, then panel controls, panel stuff, then kind of just quick move stuff, and then bone mode stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see how that goes. So rearrange keybind order, rearrange keybinds in the menu. I put the camera controls together and moved the bone mode controls to the bottom of the list. And then change translations for keybinds. This should add some clarity. And then the last thing we need to do potentially is extract common strings here. Open or navigate to the town perks tab. So as an example, town perks is probably translated somewhere. Yeah, tab titles right there. So we should probably extract these out. Yeah. I guess. Okay. Well, all right. Public static string. What is this? Town perks tab title. Like so. And then this needs to be translate. And I'm pretty sure I do this somewhere else. I think in town menu. Yeah. Okay. All right, that's pretty reasonable. So now we just want 3 more of these. So we have town, level up, build, and hire. Now we replace all of these. And then I do that same thing from over here. So we're going to make a private static string get what do we call this? Get like I don't know, get challenge mode menu string. And we take in the tab title. Open or navigate to the whatever tab. This only works in bone mode. Yeah. And we don't need this. And we need a string.format. And then we just put this in here. Okay, so this is going to come from, where did I put that? Where did I put that? By perks panel tab. By perks panel tab dot town perks tab title. Cool. And now I want to do that everywhere. So this changes to level up perks, build, and hire. All right, now is there any problem? No, looks good. All right, anything else? Probably these. Navigate to the whatever tab. Yeah, that's in, I don't even know where that is. It's in panels tab container there. What is buy? Oh, that's for challenge mode. Okay. So battle map, adventurers, and then what? Perks? Is that what that says? Perks. Battle map, adventurers, perks. Is that what we have here? Battle map, adventurers, perks. And we should probably put it in that order too. Battle, adventurers, perk, yeah. And maybe just put this one at the end. I'm not actually sure. All right, so now we parameterize all of those. So let's copy these. This is public, yeah. Battle map tab title. Yeah, we just can't escape localization, can we? Adventurers and perks, cool. Good. And then buy, we don't have a buy one, do we? No. And nor do we need to refer to it. So now these are going to be a new function that we get. Get story mode menu string. And this one says open or navigate to the whatever tab. Open or navigate to the whatever tab. Yeah, we just delete this. Hey, hard worker. Manager praised me today. Nice, nice. Are you feeling better about things in general? Because you seemed kind of down on the job originally, and it sounds like you've been giving better and better news each time, which I'm happy about. But I just want to see, is that how you feel too? All right, so this now comes from town menu dot adventures tab title. Yeah. Wait, what happened there? Oh, I think I had both lines selected. Is this not what this is called? Is that not where that lives? It's in panels tab container. Yeah, there. So now I can get rid of this. Okay, so now do this for this too. Perks, and that's battle map. Excellent. So now what do we have? Buildings menu. Buildings menu also comes from this? No, it comes from town menu. Buildings? Yeah, right there. So we'll just translate this one specifically, I guess. String dot format, translate, town menu. All right, any others? The perks or buy menus, I guess we do need to parameterize that. No, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, and then quick move menu should already be parameterized somewhere here. Yeah, get display name. So we can just get the display name of this ability, maybe. I'm not actually sure how that works. I enjoy coding and hate the meetings part. It was the same on day one. It's still the same today, but the project I'm refactoring is teaching me a lot, giving 7 to 8 hours in the office, 3 to 4 hours at home. So I'm happy. Okay, yeah. 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 At the end of the day, most jobs that I've ever seen or heard of from anyone else who's been a software developer, you're going to have some meetings. And there is a big difference between having an entire day full of meetings and still being expected to do work and having like a meeting here or there. But I don't think you can ever get down to 0 meetings. You can't just completely work isolated if you have a team of developers. Hey, Signal Tab. All right, so instead of translating this, we are going to just pull it from the ability, which I don't, like I said, I don't exactly know how we do. All abilities dot get display. Oh, that's easy. Okay, well, let's see if that works. I guess we have a function for it. So as long as that shows up as quick move menu, then we can parameterize all the other ones that we have here. Yeah, nice. All right, and where's this done? It's done in a static thing. So every single time I parameterize this, I have to fetch it this way. Maybe I'll just make our private static string quick move menu name. Yeah, there. That way this doesn't look so long. Daily updates messes my mind, but I have to cope with it, and that's how it'll be forever. Well, it won't be that way forever at every job. But at your current job, yeah, maybe with a current manager, it might be that way. And yeah, that's just the way I look at it is a job is a combination of a bunch of different factors from pay to team to impact to industry. And you'll like some of those and you won't like other ones. And that's okay. As long as it's mostly positive for you, then the equation works out in your favor. But yeah, there's bound to be something about a job you don't like. So I guess the question is always, how big is that thing you don't like? Meetings part is more important than the code. Without them, you're probably going to write the wrong code. Code is just a tool to provide for the end user. Yeah, and I think, like I said, I think there's a big difference between like 1 hour of meetings per day versus 4 hours of meetings per day. Like this could drive some people nuts, and they'll be like, I don't want to work at that job. And 1 hour meetings is like, well, it's, you know, a tax you have to pay to do this job, or maybe they can do things better or have like a no meetings day. Even at Google, there'd be designated no meetings days, and there'd still be meetings on those days. And it was like, hey, let's try to be mindful. And you could push back. That was the main reason of having no meetings days, is if you do push back and you're like, look, it's a no meetings day, people would be like, yep, you're right. Okay, can't do anything about that. How Twitch that? No, look, I don't think there's someone out there who enjoys 100% of their job. I've heard one person, and they still show up to the stream from time to time, and they said that their job is perfect. And I don't want to rain on their parade. If they think it's perfect, then they think it's a perfect. But I think most people have a gripe with at least some part of it. And even what I'm doing here, I'm working on Skeleseller. I like what I'm doing. I want to continue doing it. But do I like everything? No. And it's not even just it's like this with everything. Like, do I like every part of, and then drill down? Do I like every part of streaming, for example? No. Do I like every part of development? Do I like every part of testing or designing or any of those things? It's like, no, not every single part of it. When it comes to development, it's like, was this localization stuff fun the entire time? Not really. Overall, it wasn't bad. And streaming, yeah, it's like every once in a while someone comes in here and they're just, I don't know, being a jerk or something. So yeah, I think all in all, it goes back to what I said about the equation thing. Your job is X plus Y plus Z plus a million other variables here. And does it work out to hit a threshold that you think is worthwhile in your life? And then there's a threshold below that where it's like, well, it's not great, but you're not going to leave. And then there's a threshold below that, which is like, I'm actively looking to leave. And then one even further down, which is, I'll quit on the spot if that happens. It's like if a manager ever came in and like slapped me on the face, I'd be like, that's it. I'm not working at this job anymore. It doesn't matter what else is going on. If you hit me, I'm going to leave. I've never really heard of that complaint from friends, at least not in computer science. Our team had Friday as a no meetings day. We only had important meetings on Fridays because sometimes you just have to have them. Yeah. 90% of meetings can be an email. Now, if someone wants a meeting and didn't think about a problem at all, I said, then this is pointless. Bye. Yeah. Yeah. I think there's something to be said for you can be right and you can also let people down in a nicer way. And yeah, you might not be saying it as bluntly as that, but yeah, some people do need to get the message of like, oh yeah, you should come up with an agenda. You should at least plan, like, I'm using other people's time. How am I using that time? Okay, so this is the quick move menu. I don't know if I want to parameterize all this stuff. Let's just leave it at that for now. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna do. Okay, so we refactored some of these things out. Update translations. I also changed the order of the menu very slightly. Okay, so all these things are done. I'm just going to delete them from the list. I'm going to go leave these comments. I force pushed to this branch. Did I force push? I don't even think I did. No, I didn't. What am I talking about? Okay. All right, so that is done for now. I'm going to move this down into the backlog. Okay, this is, I think, what's the most important thing next. So let's talk about this for a bit. Let's also switch back to main before I forget that. Oh, and run the UID tool and then push that to main so I don't forget. Tools, upgrade. All right, so here's what I have written down. I think we need to plan a roadmap for the next few months. When should we be in full-on marketing mode? When should we be done with GitHub issues, etc.? How long will translations take? I am back to being worried. I wonder how much of the to-do list I can just outright ignore. And I do want to go through this and tackle what we can. And then I want to go through the GitHub issues and tackle what we can there. But I think we should thoroughly close a lot of these. And maybe that's what I work on for the next like hour or two, is just go through these and figure out what still needs to be done. Because I don't have a lot of confidence in the timeline of all of this. And the more I've been looking at other people's game launches, the more I think they all kind of stagnate somewhere. And that's where marketing needs to pick up. So, okay, I don't want to sound like I'm calling someone out. I'm not. I like Brainoid Games. Brainoid Games made Replicat. And I was just looking at the Steam reviews today, and they're very positive. So 99% of the 126 reviews. But also, I looked at the graph here. Where is it? Here. And you can see it immediately cut down by like half the number after the first day, and then another half by the second day. And then there are some sporadic reviews here. This isn't trending upward, and I imagine it's going to take a lot of marketing to get it to trend upward. And yeah, this kind of worries me too. This same thing happened with Block Shop. Again, not calling people out, and I'm also focusing on, whoops, I didn't mean to click that. I meant to click there. I'm also focusing on games that did very well. So this 100% of the reviews are positive. But if you look at the chart over here, again, it was a lot at the beginning, then not even half that. It was like a quarter of that, and then probably a quarter of that, and then again, almost nothing. And yeah, nothing since June. Well, no, never mind. There were 2 since June. And these are possibly coming from Fullbox's stream at this point, and not just the Steam audience. So this is a little scary to me because it makes me feel like if you just were to plan the roadmap in very large chunks, we have development and we have marketing and we have translations. I'd say that's kind of it. Maybe you could put playtesting here. And again, if we just look at this at very high levels, like what percent should I be putting into all of these things? Because we have a game. If I just stopped here and I never developed anything else, we didn't fix any bugs, we could put 0% toward development, or like very little, 5%. And I could put a very large percent toward this. This is not really my work. So it's mostly just me finding people and making sure it's moving along. So this is kind of different. It's almost like not applicable. And playtesting, again, not exactly my work. I need to get playtesters. I do need to review stuff. So maybe this is what this should look like, and I should actually get this to add up to 100. So maybe something like that. I don't know, but that's not where we're trending right now. I have more than 5% development planned and not 60% marketing planned. And yeah, this is concerning. So let's go figure some of this stuff out. Run the UID tool. Run main, right? I hope run main. Yeah, run main. And I wrote that down too, didn't I? No, I didn't. Can I playtest? Yeah, sure. I can write this down. Because what I'm looking for is I'm looking for playtesters once we get new artwork in for the map, which should happen in the next week or two. So I think this month we can probably reach out to new people there. Are you aware of Jonas Tyroller? No. But I can write that down too. By the way, playable on Linux? Yeah, it is. All right, so let's work backwards for a second. Let's go pick a day in March. I think, I don't know about St. Patrick's Day, but okay, let's say March 17th. So let's say the launch is on March 17th. That gives us 103 days. I want the game to be completely done by like March 1st. Ideally sooner. That way Steam, like Valve, can review the game. I should be doing almost nothing but marketing at that point. How to be a playtester? I'll just write your name down for now. And then I'll reach out to you in probably some number of weeks. So it won't be this week, for example. Almost certainly not. So I would guess that translations would have to be done by like February 1st so that I can get people to playtest in different languages and help improve those translations. I still have the last things written down here that I have to do. I don't know. I'm so torn. I look at this and I'm like, yeah, that's not bad. We can tackle this. But then I look at localization and it took what, 2 weeks or something? When did I start localization? Here, November 25th. Whoops. Days. I don't want to just count the days. I'm just going to have this do it. Okay, 9 days. That's actually not too bad. But it feels like it took forever. Hey, Matt. Yeah. So I think I think this is probably pretty big. Yeah, I think controller support is important. Thought you've been on it for a month. Well, I did some other stuff. Maybe there's other things down here. Localization. Yeah, I did a couple of research days. So yeah, I guess it worked out to like 2 weeks. Hey, Infinite. How's your day going? It's going pretty well. How are you doing? Yeah. So yeah, controller support I think is going to matter a lot. And I haven't thought about that too much yet. Final cutscene is going to be based on having some art. Finish bone mode. We could do it anytime. Stabilize and bug fixes. So I think that's kind of what I want to do is just keep looking through this to-do list and just getting random tasks out of it. But maybe I should be looking through the GitHub issues stuff. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think we need to aim to have translations done by like February 1st. Let me write that down. Love for translations to be done by February 1st so that we can get playtesters in those languages. It's that Hofstadter's law. Just never estimate these things. Most of it's just menu nav, right? There's also the like just normal gameplay stuff that I think might be difficult. So how do you move the map? That's already probably pretty easy. We'll just bind that to one of the control sticks. But then how do you move items around? And all right, I rebound this. Okay. How do you move items around? So this act of doing things is very mouse centric. Like you can drag items, you let go of them. And we could have a cursor that you move with the controller. Or we could put like a little rectangle around this and you press right and it moves the rectangle to different ones or left or down or up or whatever like that. But then, yeah, how do you pick a target for this? And maybe what we do is on controller, we have the quick move menu unlocked always. So you're only picking targets like this pretty much. So it's like, yeah, move it to the shop and you don't pick where exactly. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. Yeah, so we got to spend some time doing that. I don't think I want to do that right now because I want to spend some time thinking about it and then doing it after I've thought about it. Mousing on controller sucks. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Full gyro controls. Imagine you're holding a controller like this and you need to like just tilt a little bit to get to the warehouse and tilt a little bit this way to get somewhere else. It's like you're holding an item on a platter. All right, well, I'll just put this into my stream of consciousness note for now. Yeah. So my general conclusions, I need to make the most of each workday, and the dev stuff remaining doesn't seem too bad. Controller support is a big one, but I plan to start that tomorrow. So yeah, I think for the rest of today, it's going to be just tackle some things off of this list. Where did I leave off? It must have been here. Yeah, I still haven't finished these things. Man. Doesn't the new Steam controller come with a built-in mouse touch control thing? Yeah, it's still not great to use in this sort of case. Like, I still don't think anything really comes close to just having a mouse when it comes to controllers. So I have a Steam Deck and it has those touchpad things. And yeah, I find it annoying when I have to use those. Anyway, here's what we're going to do. We're going to tackle some of these things. It's going to just be Yeah, just be for the next hour and a half, maybe. Yeah. So we're starting with 52,073 characters. I like writing this stuff down. And yeah, let's go through this list. Thanks, I'll Twitch that. And thanks for the resub too. I will definitely need the good luck. Carrots grow immediately. I'm just going to delete this. All right, we have generated perks and we could use them in story mode. So it's just a machine gunning out fish as you put them in. It's better than adding another perk at some point and controlling the levels though. Yeah, I'm just going to leave this too. We need to remove a whole bunch of these things. Consider upgrading. I mean, this is still on my radar. I wonder if I should... Do I have anything about Godot in here? In the title? No. Because if we're going to upgrade ever, we should probably do it such that playtesters can try the game after we've upgraded it. I don't think we get anything major out of upgrading though. A9RRB. Updating Godot. Get rid of RC edit. Yeah, I don't know about this. We don't really have a major reason to. I'm going to just delete this for now. Empower Spirit seems bad in practice. If you have 4 spirits, the chance of any single one being empowered is pretty low. And it's only a 40% chance to use the ability twice. If it were better, it'd probably be super overpowered. Maybe we should change it so empowered spirits use their abilities twice, but the second time is at X% power. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know about any of this. Yeah, I don't like the spirit callers balancing. It's this ability. Increase a random spirit's power by 25% for 4 seconds. It's just not great. Wait, was I talking about dual targeting? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what I should do here. How many lines of text does the game have that need translation? Let's see. We have about 10,000 words. So yeah, we have about 80,000 words that need to be translated. And I was kind of talking about this in the private Discord for the game team, but at about 80,000 words at 15 cents per word, you're looking at about like $12,000 of cost for translations. And I mentioned this before, but the budget for the game is $500. So that's not gonna happen. This is why we went the LLM route. Is like there's just no other way to do this as cheaply. And then I'm gonna hopefully get some volunteers to help fix up the LLM translations. But yeah, I know it's not ideal. Get a coupon. A 99.99% off. I would take that. All right, so I do still agree with this, but I don't know if it's worth fixing, and I don't have some like quick fix off the top of my head. We could lower the cooldown of this. Or we could have this raise the duration. Or even increase the power that we give them. I don't know. I'm not going to think about this for right now. You have a publisher? No. I don't want to get a publisher. I think that getting a proper publisher, if you get one that does their job well, it's probably worthwhile. But I think to find a good publisher is going to be very tough. And I've been approached by many different publishers at this point, and I look into them and I think some of the same things all the time. Well, one, there is a category of them that they don't have any successful games already. And I'm like, why would I go with you? Why would I take a gamble? You know, prove yourself on someone else who wants to take a gamble. Then there's a category of them where it's like, okay, things look fine on the surface, but are they fine? How much did they help the game? How much was the game already just good to begin with? How do you zoom in and out on controller? I don't know if we've bound those buttons, so it might not be possible. But we haven't added controller support for sure yet. So when we have added it, there should be a way to do that. Am I an upcoming playtester? You can be, yeah. I've wrote your name down. Yeah. Yeah. Only flip side of publisher is it worked well for Animal. Oh, publishing has worked well for many different games. It's also worked poorly for a lot of games. And yeah, I don't think I want to put the time into this right now. I'm sure publishers will, if the game fails, look at it and be like, well, if you had a publisher, it wouldn't have failed. All right, I'm going to just not do anything about this for right now. But this is something I want to add to this list. Where is it? Okay. Going through the to-do list now. Gonna put items here that I still think are decent, but that should be dropped. So here's one of them. Let's also move this up there. So just put a Wilo. And I want to close millions of tabs that I have. Let's go do that. There. Okay, back down to this. Sword, brandish, and open palm are the same icon. Sword, brandish, open palm. Compare. According to this, they're not the same. They probably look the same, though. Sword, brandish is there. Open with GIMP. And what, open palm? Yeah, they do look the same. The borders are different? Oh, never noticed that. But the icons are pretty much the same. But yeah, I truly never did notice the different borders. I wonder why there are different borders. Because what does everything else look like in here? Like this has a relatively solid left side up until that little thing. But these all have the tear up at the top. Is there a rhyme or reason to this? And there doesn't have to be. I don't mind if there isn't. Why is there no horizontal scroll bar? Why is it scrolling so slowly? All right, there we go. I don't think so, but maybe this came down to perks versus adventurer skills, which I have just never looked at. Wow. No, it's not that, because some of these have the left tear at the top and some don't. Yeah, even within a class. Yeah, I don't think there's rhyme or reason to this. Or maybe there was supposed to be, and anyway, like I said, doesn't matter. I don't care about that. But as a result, then these icons are pretty much the same. So where do we use them? There is no rhyme or reason. Okay, yeah. And like I said, totally fine. There's no problem with that. Thank you for chiming in, Quickie Joe. Work a little bit, then come back. All right, take care, hard worker. Yeah, I'll probably only be online for the next probably hour or so. They handle localization marketing for you. Yeah, this is the, so as I kind of mentioned, I've heard a bunch of horror stories about this stuff. Like they say they'll handle marketing and then they, reach out to 100 people and that's it. And nothing ends up happening. No rhyme, but maybe a rhymu. Now we just need Reasonu in the chat. And it's like, oh, well, if that's all they're going to do, that's not that helpful. What does localization look like for them? How much are people just using AI anyway? So like they say they're localizing a game and then it turns out poorly. Does anyone know what Silk Song's story was with translation? So apparently the Chinese translation was really bad. Did they hire that out? They must have hired it out, I guess. But did they have a publisher do that? What were they even published by? Silk Song. Because I assume they did this themselves. Yeah, Team Cherry. And this is all they're doing, right? Yeah. So then they must have contracted it out to somebody and they just did a bad job, I guess. But yeah, it's not a publisher, I guess, who did a bad job there. Publishing means trailers and all. Publishing means kind of anything. It could mean funding for a game. It could mean marketing. It could mean localization. It could mean, I don't know, some other resources you might need. Maybe some dev resources or networking with somebody. It's like everything and just getting the game out there. Definitely cases of publishers just taking profit from your game and not doing anything for it. Yeah. Yeah, and I just don't want to I don't want to deal with that hassle. The other thing that I want to do is I want to like build some publishing skills myself, not for the sake of becoming a publisher for other people, but just for publishing my own games. Like I'd like to do this stuff and get better at it. All right, well anyway, these are probably the same icon, but let's take a look at where they're used. Sword brandish is used there, and that is on taunt swords up, okay. And then open palm is used in taunt. Okay, so both show up under the warrior? Yeah. All right, whatever. I think it's fine. Yeah, I'm just going to delete this. 3 guys that were contracted and they had no oversight. They failed to listen to feedback, which blew up the issue more. Yeah, I suspect what's going to happen is someone from Korea or whatever will play Skeleseller and be like, this translation isn't great. And I'm going to be like, okay, I will, if the game's successful, like could maybe hire someone to fix it up. But I don't think we can do it ahead of time other than through volunteers. And I don't want to delay the launch of other languages. So I am going to try to pay close attention to the reviews that come out. All right, joke idea. Add a really long dialogue line to a shop NPC about being stuck in a text writing factory or being sentient. I like this idea still, and I really want to do it. But I'm going to just put it into the official jokes idea section. Right here. Okay, figure out this bug. In battle button showing on top of end battle screen. Report was here, and while they shared logs, I don't see any errors. Also, it's a forest loot showing over the crypt battle. Maybe this was actually caused by editing the party as soon as a new battle started. Man, I don't even know what we were supposed to do about this. It was critiquing convention demos. Yeah, interesting. Huh. So the report was here. What is this? A private message? Let me look at this off screen. No, it's just in bug reports from Brodinger. Yeah, they shared their logs and nothing was there. I don't know what we should do about this. How about this? Let's just file a bug on this. So this is what you fled. And in battle buttons can show on top of end battle screen. All right, let's just copy paste the whole thing. Copy markdown. Just paste it here. It's probably going to copy as base 64 image data, which then doesn't work. Isn't that fun? Where's the text after this? Oh, there it is. I see. Okay, so just copy that into this. And then get the image by copying just that as markdown and going to one of these websites. Love doing this. There we go. Copy and paste. Okay, so note, I am filing this issue only to immediately close it. I just don't think this is worth investigating right now. It'll probably take hours and may not be conclusive. Yeah. I think overseeing any kind of translation is difficult. Maybe it's, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just difficult. All right, so I'm just going to delete this. Text twist effect. No. We're going to delete this. I did write notes? Wrote notes? Let me take a look at where I wrote the notes. I just want to make sure those are still good. Where do we even put this? Here? Twist? Yeah, rich text effect. But I did not write about... I didn't write about the... how to get glyph information. Getting glyph information isn't very easy. See something like this. Yeah. Other keywords in case that link gets broken. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, yeah. I am going to... When did I stash this? I didn't put a date? All right, well, let's list the stash. Add twist history. No, that's not it. That's a different kind of twist. Failed attempt at serializing. I don't care about this. I'm just not going to look at this. Before launch, test what happens when you upgrade from the demo to the full game. Does everything work smoothly? Yeah, this is pretty important. Upgrade. Demo. Can I write this down anywhere? Nope. Okay, let's make a new issue. Ensure upgrading from the demo to the full game works on Steam. Maybe make a new Steam account for this. Or just ask, nah, whatever. All right, milestone pre-launch, create. All right, we should show this next to the game scale setting. If you set it to something like 1.4, maybe just say in the tooltip 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5 will look best. What is written there now? I think this is a nice to have, and we're probably never doing this. Excuse me. So I'm going to file this and then just immediately close it on Twitch. I don't remember their full name. I don't think searching for this is going to find it. Navia Flame, that's what it was. Note, I don't think she said this herself. It's just something I noticed as she played. Okay, I'm also going to close this issue immediately since I think we have other pressing matters to attend to. And not many people even change the UI scale. Okay, so show a, I don't know, indicate to the player that the UI scale should probably be in whole numbers when possible. Yeah. I think this is the kind of prioritization we have to do. Like, yeah, it'd be nice to have. I could go do it now. It might take whatever, 15 minutes, but that's 15 minutes I'm not spending toward something that's more important. We have more important stuff. You can press P in story mode to see perks before you've unlocked any perk screens. I know for sure this is a bug when you skip the tutorial. Maybe it isn't when you go through the tutorial. What happens when you invoke this bug? I guess that's the question here. If I press P and I click this, what happens? Does it cause an error? It doesn't. And then do I have that when I unlock the garbage slime? So now if I make a bunch of items and speed this up, will he eat one of them? Yeah. So is it even worth fixing? It's probably worth fixing. Let's go look at it really fast and see what it would take. All right. So how do we find this? We don't have keybind stuff. So I got to go look at it through UI action something. I don't know. I don't know what this is. Perks panel tab. Maybe unhandled input in here. It's not there. Overlay visibility controller. Unhandled input. Aha. Toggle perks. There it is. Toggle perks visibility. So does this have access to the town? It does. So then can't we just do something here like if... Wait, we would need there to be some tab that's visible. We could check the town menu maybe? Perks. How does this notice show up? Town menu. Perks. Button. Yeah, show the button. And we just keep track of when you have any of these things. Toggle perks button, not show. Okay, well, if that's showing, then pressing P should allow you to access this. Yeah. So let's add a new public bool is perks button showing or visible. Sure. And then over here, if town menu, if it's not visible, then just return. All right, now where does the town menu exist? I think it's just called menu. I don't know where it is though. Let's just search for dot menu. Town.ui.menu. It's not even in here. Oh man. Well, I mean, I guess we could access it still. It's just this is getting a little bit stupid. There, that'll work. Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah. But it should fix the bug. This is such a narrow use case, which is why I'm doing this in a hacky way. Like, who's going to press a shortcut in the tutorial for, what, like the first 3 minutes of the game? And if they do and they see a dialogue, then so what? But, okay, it's fixed now. So now let's get a perk thing, and now I can press P. Now I can save and load, and still press P, yeah. Yeah, bug fixed. And what about in bone mode? I don't think you should be able to press this at all. Yeah, you can't. I wonder what this would have done before my fix, though. Git stash. Let's see. So we click that and there. And now I press P, and what happens? Oh, I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like that. Okay, so now stash pop. So then we need to fix this. If town.gameplay mode.is challenge mode, or yeah. So in story mode, don't let the player show a menu that doesn't have any buttons in it yet. We rely on the town menu to tell us this, since it's the easiest way. All right, that should fix it. Now we'll go try that out. It should work in both cases. Oh, whoops, I did that backwards. Right. All right, so we go to a new game over here. I press P, nothing shows up. I save, I load. I press P, nothing shows up. That's all fine. I get the town hall. Now it shows, and I save and I load, and it still shows. Okay, then over here, we start a game, and pressing P shows you this thing. Perfect. Oh, and pressing P should close it. It does. All right, so fix bug with showing perks panel prematurely. You could press P to show the perks panel in story mode without having any perks available because you didn't build anything yet. Now pressing P only works if it would show something. Yeah. Hey, Bragg. Do you have any pointer when it comes to batch drawing of cutout avatars for an MMO game? Like, should I use sprites or draw right from draw method, the textures? I'm new for Godot, so I'm trying to think what's the best approach. You should almost never use the draw method directly. This is for like very exceptional drawing that you might be doing. Like you need to draw some arbitrary path on something. But if you're using sprites, I would say leave the batching to Godot and just draw stuff. And if you find that there's later a problem with performance, you can look into it then and see what you could do about it. But yeah, in general, just leave it to Godot to figure out. As for sprites versus, I don't know if you're talking about like sprites versus 3D models or something like that versus shaders. It's whatever fits the aesthetic you want and is easy enough for you to make assets for. So like Jessica Mack on Twitch, I think that's how you spell her name, is doing a game that's like entirely through shaders. And it's a very unique look and it works for her. I imagine most people would not want to do that. Some people go entirely sprites. Some people make 3D models for things. So yeah, whatever fits your pipeline. But just not draw. We use draw in I think 2 places in the code base. Yeah, 2 places. One is a debug screen, so this players don't even see. And then this is the only place that a player can see this, and it's just for drawing a rectangle around a selection. So this border that you see here that's either blue or green, that's done through draw. And that's it. That's the only place the player ever sees it. And even then, we didn't need to use draw. It was just the fastest way for me to do this. Okay, so this is fixed, but why didn't I check this in yet? All right, Polish. Tips for beating elites after the dragon. Use beat elite tip, which means they only hide themselves after you beat the regular battle at the same location. Should probably be based on building something. That way they don't stick around forever. Yeah, I'll file this. Change how beat elite tip auto hides or dismisses itself. Another interesting visual thing, when you hold something in your hand when you end a run, the cursor stays a fist in challenge mode window and perk buying window afterwards. Let's try this out. So apparently, if we just hold something, click, and then go to the title, yeah, it's the wrong cursor. So pretty much anytime you end up on the title screen, we should probably reset the cursor. Karaoke issue reading? What? I didn't pay attention to what I was doing. All right, so how do we want to do this? Yeah, I think just when you end up on the title screen, we just reset the cursor. Just do this here. Isn't there like some mouse input or mouse cursors? Use normal cursor. This is to reset any cursor you may have had from inside the game. Let's see if that even works. I think it should. So is there any problem right now on the title screen? Just the translation stuff. I'm ignoring that. Yeah, for now. I'll do that off screen or off stream. All right, so let's go into story mode. Click new. Then give ourselves some items, which I will save. And then click and go to the title screen. And the cursor actually did not get changed. Maybe this never got hit. Let's try it. I would not believe that, by the way. I think it's going to get hit. Yeah, it is. And yet it does nothing. Oh, because if you're using the grab cursor, okay. So we need to force it. So we just pass true here. I don't know what I just typed. Force true. Yeah, there. That's it. That should fix it. So my idea is to have an external file that contains the data, easier for updating and having a bunch of equipment, for example. I need something that is very dynamic in textures and in layers. I can end up with 40 layers, hair, body, head, arms, cape, equip. So I'm asking for the draw because it helps me ordering the layers much, much better. Yeah, so I wouldn't do things that way. I would work on changing your scene hierarchy based on how things should show up. So as an example, I'd probably have something like a player. And I don't know what you want to make this. Maybe you want to make this like a, what do they call them? kinematic. I got rid of that character body 2D. So this is probably a character body 2D or 3D, of course, if you want that. So, and then underneath this, you might have something like body sprite, and this is a sprite 2D. And then maybe you have like a, I don't know, cape sprite. Again, all these things would be sprite 2Ds, and helm and whatever else, gloves, I don't know what. And then if you need something to show on top of something else, you might just move where it is in the scene hierarchy. So for 2D sprites, this all gets to be kind of a mess because a lot of RPG characters nowadays have like crazy gear that goes over this thing but behind this thing. So you might actually need two sprites for some of these. You do like a helm behind sprite and a helm in front sprite, and just get rid of the single one. So now you have a graphic that can show up behind all of the character and everything, and then you have one that shows up in front of them. On a 3D model, this is easier because your depth rendering is just going to handle this. So yeah. But this is not really that complex, I'd say. It's pretty straightforward, right? Each thing has a sprite. Some of them have sprites that are divided up, and you just control what the order is based on what looks good for your game. Yeah. Hey, Whip. This game called Fantasy Idol Dungeon just released. Town has same vibes as Skelly. I think someone commented on this. Is this the thing I'm thinking of? Oh, no. Wait, did someone comment on this? I don't know. But this looks like a typical idle game. Yeah. They might be using the Super Retro World graphics, but it's hard for me to tell. I think some of them look pretty similar. Yeah, actually, yeah, they must be using them. Yeah, they are. I see enough of the graphics that are repeated there. Yeah, they're just using the same asset pack foundation, and they probably drew some custom graphics on top of that. Yeah, sure thing, Frag. Yeah, and like I said, I think the proof is in the pudding. Like, try this out, see what problems you hit, see how you'd solve them. If you run into some unsolvable black hole, then probably the technique is not great. Because you mentioned Maple Story. I haven't played Maple Story, although I've seen what it looks like. Where's a good example of this? I guess over here, maybe. So you mentioned Maple Story. It's like, if Maple Story did this, however many years ago that they did it, like, you should certainly be able to do this nowadays. And it shouldn't be too crazy in a game engine, because just rendering a character with equipment is something that's very common in a lot of games. And not even necessarily equipment, just like changing clothing color or something. Like your shirt, you change from red to blue. It's like, in order to just change that, that means that the shirt must be isolated somehow. It might not be a sprite. It might be that a shader identifies it somehow. But it's like, yeah, that technique can't be so crazy, or else you wouldn't see it in as many games as you do. Okay, so did I fix this? I think it should be fixed now. So we click continue. I click this. Title screen. Yeah, nice. It's fixed. Cool, cool, cool. Grabbing an item and then going to the, and then quitting. I want to type this in such a way that it fits on one line. Cursor you may have had from maybe gameplay. Yeah, and then quitting. Okay, that's good. All right, so fix issue with the cursor not resetting. Repro was grab an item in the game and then press escape and go to the title screen. At this point, the cursor would still use the grab graphic. We now reset it on the title screen. This is kind of a half measure. Like, you'd probably expect it to change as soon as you pressed escape, but we don't. So it's still using the grab cursor, although I guess you're still seeing it in the background too. I never thought about that. Oh, the character. Oh, that's why we're seeing it in the background, because the game's unpaused. Yeah. From what I learned, just basic layers, the idea is just know how to do this correctly. I'll look into what you suggested with Sprite 2D and the tree structure. Just hope it doesn't break for about 100 avatars. Well, the other thing you're going to need is the Y ordering in Godot. So if we go to, let's say, this, and we look at kind of anything here, maybe environment. Yeah, so there's an ordering section, and there is Y sort enabled. I've got some notes on this. Y sort Godot. Yeah, so here, do take a look at this. These are the notes I wrote. So in Skeleseller, for example, you can see in this picture, there are trees and there are skeletons. And you can see that this tree is both behind a skeleton and in front of a skeleton. This effect is achieved by Y sorting. You will probably want Y sorting. And you don't need to change anything here, just to be clear. Like, all I need to do is turn on Y sorting, and this is just done. I don't need to be like, okay, let's rearrange the skeleton and the tree. It's covered for you. But at least among an avatar, I guess you might be able to rely on some Y sorting, but other things it all depends on what graphics you have. As a crazy example here, imagine that you've got just something like you can equip a helmet, you can equip a cape, and you can equip boots. Well, what if your boots have like stalagmites on them that shoot up so high that they cover your helmet? Like, yeah, then you got to come up with some solution for that. Or let's say your helmet has like, I don't know, hair that goes all the way down to your feet coming out of it. Yeah, then these are the sorts of things you got to figure out, like, okay, how do I solve that? Because it's not going to be as simple as just turn on Y sorting, probably. All right, so did I give Galaxy Inferno a point for this? I don't know if I did. A.bot.land/points. She has 4 points. Did I give her one for this? I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna not give another point just in case. Although actually, was this reported on Discord or via chat? Let me check. No, I'm not gonna check. The whole point is to save time here. How about this? How about this? Let's just be nice and let's just give her a point. Because maybe I didn't already. All right, so this is done now. Do you have a timestamp log for points? I don't think so. But even if I did, honestly, checking it is probably not worth the effort right now. And especially when we're talking about points. Like, these are not important things. Hey, Goose. Changing chat. What? What happened here? Okay, so we fixed a couple of those. Make sure metrics are not in the final version of the game. Yeah, I should have this written somewhere. Delete the metrics server. And this is pre-launch. Yeah, good. Okay. Intended only for this. I wrote this, which will be deleted. Also remove the client-side code that tries uploading this. Note that if we did want to keep this, we would need to have players opt in and include a privacy policy. They're clearly not very important. Adam's devaluing the whole point economy over here. Quick task. This should use this. What? This should use this. If it's the demo, get adventure choices. Otherwise, get the adventure choices in demo. Otherwise, get this. And do one of those. Why did I do this? What? Why did I even have to do select many? Can't I just have done 2 lists on this? Can I implicitly convert from a list of adventure class array? Oh, I see. Yeah, my bad. Okay, well, we could change it to what this thing wanted me to do. It just looks uglier. But this isn't even what I wanted to do with the task I laid out on the to-do list. It was change this here. This one, excuse me. So it says feature flag is demo. Then get that, otherwise get that. And this is to get an array of arrays. So that I can do what? This is so stupid. Yeah, I don't know what I'm What am I doing here? I don't think we can change this. I also think this is pointless. Yeah, I think it's pointless. Just discard this. Okay. Well, the array of arrays was for reasons, and I realized that as I was coding it. So we have something like that. Why am I doing this? I'll just show you what it actually is. Yeah. So we have like rogue and mage, archer and witch doctor, warrior, paladin, cleric. A row here represents which choices you're going to be offered after beating a certain boss. So like this is after beating none of the bosses. This is after beating one of them. This is after beating two of them. And then the columns in here are your individual choices, which is pretty obvious. So that's why it was an array of arrays. This other function that we had here is to collapse it into just a list. And that won't work for us. So I don't know why I had this written here. What we might be able to do, we might be able to take this out of here because this adventure choices in demo should presumably only exist in like 2 spots in the game. Yeah, it's literally 2 spots in the game. So if choices can be different for new game modes, need that 3rd dimension. Yeah. And might need a 4th dimension if we have another, we like combine the demo thing with the non-demo stuff. Add cheat for playtesters to grant sludge to play. I'm not doing that. Not just the playtest problem. Auto purchasing chests doesn't dismiss the dialogue from the treasure spirit. Really? Is that still a problem? Auto purchasing chests. Where's auto purchase? There. Okay, so save this. And now turn this on. No, that dismissed it. What if I turn it off? That dismissed it. And what if I say maybe later? Oh, no, I think that's done. Add a way to see guild supply level. Maybe use the bottom left if that isn't showing. Feedback was here. Let me take a look at this. I think we fixed this. And I love when this happens with to-do lists, where I look through it and I'm like, oh, we already did this. It's the best way to close something. Yeah, so here was their suggestion that they had. They wanted to see like the guild level there on the left side. This was for even regular mode, I think. And the only way you can see it in story mode at least is by clicking, or at least in this view, is by clicking each individual adventurer. But I think this matters a little bit less now. In fact, oh man, I wonder if you even have, ooh, that's a bug. Uh-oh. To further train your two is wrong. That's here. Get display name. Oh yeah, I should call the function. Whoops. Okay. Tiny little bug. Just a tiny little bug. Let's see if that fixed it. Yeah, nice. Okay. I don't think we're going to do anything about this, though. Yeah. So I'll put this on the stream of consciousness as something that might have been good to keep. What else do we have? Auto purchase may or may not work with selecting. Look into it. Definitely doesn't work. I think I did some work. Maybe we can reuse that. I'm pretty sure we fixed this. That was written on September 17th. Oh, how would we find the fix? Where's auto purchase happen? Auto purchase chest. Purchase treasure chest. So treasure chest display. I bet we can find it in there. Treasure chest display. And look at the history. Do we have something about fix bug with treasure room? No, not that one. I might have done it inside one of these. Oh god. Treasure. Or maybe I just never fixed it. But I'm like 90% sure I fixed it. I guess we can just test it. So we get selective loot. I select the rogue. And then here I select the mage. And then we auto purchase. Rogue, mage. Yeah, it's fixed. Where did I fix it? Yeah, it's right here. Where did that line of code come from? Line 158. Oh, that's not how that works. L? Yeah, 158. B to blame. And add trade-offs and reels 4 months ago. That's not possible. Or that's not the fix. Oh, it was a line above it. There it is. Aha, fix bug. What day was that? When did this make it in? Last week? What? Okay, yeah, sure. Well, it's done. I don't remember doing that last week. Definitely. That's at November 24th. Is that even last week? Where are we? Yeah, barely. Only just by most people's conventions of what weeks are is that last week. Only like 99.9% of people would agree. All right, yeah, I just forgot about that. Better track that guy down. Hey, Mitch. Definitely need a way to stop skeletons from taking keys. Even just a lever or button would work. How? Oh, this is not important anymore. July 27th. Is that before we had key storage inside the treasure room? That's the question. I think the answer is yes. I'd love to verify this, but I don't really want to spend the time. Wait, July was before all the bone mode stuff, wasn't it? So there must have been. Yeah, okay, never mind. I'm just going to leave that. Sprite bleed on adventurers in their screenshot. I'm going to leave that one there for now. Well, I don't know how this is possible. Yeah, so if I take their image and I open it in the browser, here's what we see. We see this black bar showing over the witch doctor, over the archer, and over Mushy. And that should have been impossible even back then, I'm pretty sure. So let's go take a look. Where is that party member? And there should be a texture rectangle somewhere. Party member base, I guess. Texture rect. There it is. And where do we set this? Interesting. We don't crop this? What? Okay, hold on. I'm not totally sure I understand this. Texture. Where's the cropped stuff that we have? Crop 2D here. How does this work? Texture equals 2 cropped texture. Why aren't we doing that? That's strange. Yeah, why aren't we doing that? Huh. We were so careful about this everywhere. I'm not certain this is going to fix it. Well, it broke everything. What's it complaining about? Maybe the cast image texture to atlas texture. 2 cropped texture returns a texture 2D. This would be an image texture. Ooh, boy. Okay, let's go look at party member base. What do we have here? Portrait texture. What is this thing? Is an atlas. Okay, this is not easy. Do we ever deal with atlas textures? We apparently do. All right, let me read the comments on this. Crop the provided texture to its resulting image and return a new texture. This is particularly useful when using Atlas texture and applying shaders to prevent them from applying to neighboring tiles. To easily get this behavior in a Sprite 2D, you can attach texture crop Sprite 2D to the node. Thing is, we don't have this in a sprite. We have this in a texture rectangle, and we apparently don't do this anywhere else. There are so few places where this shows up. This would not need to be cropped. Camera pan wouldn't need to be cropped. Why is this even a rectangle? Oh, for a debug function. Loot item? Hey, look at that. Get item atlas texture to crop texture. Well, we just set it here as a texture. So I guess casting it to an atlas rectangle or an atlas whatever is wrong. Let me go take a look at that. Where'd the texture code go? There it is. That's weird. What is it even doing? It's just setting a region on this. It's so bizarre. Yeah, I understand. I understand that bit at least. So how do we got to form a new one of these now? So we should actually just change the texture rectangle. Is that function even there? No, it's not there. All right. So how do we do this? We need to get this dot to crop and then give it a region. Region. The region should be this. Region. What is a region? They rect 2D. Region equals. But that their portrait size comes from that. But it came from what the original size was? What? And then that needs to be an atlas texture. This won't work. This definitely won't work. Don't we just know what size this is? 57 by 46? Huh. Yeah. 57, 46, 57, 46. Okay, if that works, I'm going to try to find a better way to not hard code those numbers. But this should fix the sprite bleeding problem, which I can't even see on my own machine. Did it work? No, they're all broken. How did I mess this up? Oh, because we're taking the texture and cropping it again. All right, shouldn't I just form a new one of these? I think I'm doing this in the dumbest way possible. I think we should try to find where I do this for items, which is here. Get item atlas texture. Yeah, I want something like this. What happens if I open up that graphic? Where is that? Characters. They're the portraits. Are these 57 by 46? Yes, they are. Like the clouds in the background. So yeah, I think we should probably go make a class like this and have this thing work. So what does it do exactly? We just get this stuff working. Okay, so let's do that. Let's save this somewhere else. I don't know where, maybe in adventurers. And call this something like adventurer portrait sprite sheet converter. Sure, that's great. All right, so now it's game source adventurers, adventurer portrait, get portrait texture, adventure class, adventure class. Okay, we're gonna get this working. we're gonna do it. This took an adventurer data. I guess it doesn't really matter what it takes in. I might as well take an adventurer data. And what is that for? So that we can get the portrait coordinates? Okay. So atlas texture path, we only ever have one. And sprite size, we only ever have one. So what we can do is we can just get this. And then where do we use the path? Right there. So it's always in the same spot, which is here, card peoples. All right, so let's get there. Yeah, assets, card, people. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so there's our path. Now we don't need this. Next up is sprite size. So atlas coordinates, those come from this. And it's vector 2i. Portrait coordinates. That's a vector 2. Huh. Should be a vector 2i. Which shouldn't cause any problems, I think. Portrait. Yeah, nice. All right, take care, Happy Chappy. Thank you for being here. Have a good night. Made some decent progress this stream. Okay, so final atlas chords. We don't even really need that there. And we just need to figure out, I'll just say const width equals, what did I say? 57 by 46? Yes. And eventually we'll figure out how to not do that. All right. So region, we get final atlas coordinates and then width height. And return it. Now we just go use that. And we say texture rectangle equals this dot this. And does this do 2 cropped? It doesn't. Oh, I'm gonna figure this out. Yeah, we do 2 cropped on the caller side. 2 cropped. Okay, now I expect everything's gonna work. This should be perfect. And we just got to figure out how to fix those constants. They're all the warrior. Oh my god, how funny. All right, so where's the warrior's portrait? That's 0, 0, but what? Everyone else? Oh, 2, 0? That's not correct. These are not in terms of... Okay, so they're actually not all the warrior. They're off by 1 pixel each at most. Yeah. So you can see there are 1, 2, well, I guess 3 pixels in that case. But yeah, it's just shoving it right or up by 1 pixel. It should be by tiles. So what we need to do here is this times width height. Yeah. And that will fix it. Very funny. Very funny. All right, well, I mean, that's not hard to fix. Yeah, nice. Now all these look good. And now the sprite bleeding problem should be fixed. Yeah, sneaking out. Like a Harry Potter picture. All right, so how do we do this in every other case? Because we could just hard code these here. I don't think there's some smart way to do this. Like we have a picture and we need to know how big each tile is in the picture. Yeah, I think that's that. Okay, then yeah, that's our code. So fix sprite bleeding in adventurer portraits. All right, see original bug report here. This isn't needed. Yeah, nice. Can I wrap this? How does this supposed to work? Oh yeah, that's as good as it can get. Okay, we should leave the infinite elites in, although it'd probably have to work differently if we end up showing bosses on the map. The infinite scaling of treasure will make people want to break the game. Yeah, we left this in. But added challenge during the demo. That should not show up there anymore, right? Yeah. Do you have different branches on GitHub or are you always working on the main branch? Yeah, we have different branches. Right now I'm working on main. I really shouldn't be, but I am. And who's gonna stop me? So maybe we just delete the during the demo bit here. Yeah. Also, before I do any of the afternoon work today, I should regenerate any strings. Oh no, but we already, oh darn it, we already changed that. Oh no, 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 no. Hang on a second. All right, here's the problem. So now anytime we change an English string, so we used to have the words during the demo here, and I want to get rid of those. Obviously, easy enough to do in English, but then we're going to regenerate all of our localized strings, and they're going to now be incorrect in every other language. And I already translated them all. So like if we go into this Spanish file, for example, scripts during the demo. Yeah, so this, you can see during the demo shows up in Spanish. I need to retranslate this string. Now, presumably in Spanish, I could just delete these 3 words as well. But I've got to do that in all the languages, and I won't know how to find that in Japanese, for example. All right, well, I got to get better at this workflow. So yeah, for example, I removed during the demo from the English string. I need to figure out how to regenerate the new text for just those strings. It'll get marked as fuzzy, but no one will probably realize that during the demo shouldn't be there. Maybe I just blank them out or have the LLM generate a new one. Okay. So back to the list. Yeah, I already fixed this. So now there's no need for, oh, there's a need for no. We just get rid of the during the demo bit because we're keeping this in the game. That wasn't the goal originally, but people like the idea, so now we're keeping it. So let's take a look at it in the game now. How do we even get this thing to show up? We've got to upgrade everything. So I got to do that. And it still doesn't show up. And now it shows up. Yeah, so there's the new tooltip. Unlock the ability to battle elite monsters again. Each time you win, their power will go up. This is just for added challenge. Maybe for an additional challenge. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Move during the demo from a string. The ability to rebattle elite monsters is staying in the full game. Yeah. All right, what next? May want the golem to take a hit based on percent life. That way another adventurer who got more guild supplies. What? Oh, their taunt ability. What's that called? Earthen Taunt. Gives them a buff. And we check to see if the golem has the most life. Yeah, I think it should be based on percent life. So we just change life to percent life and we're done. Well, golem health would also change to percent life too. Yeah, but this is really just a game design question. So the golem has Earthen Taunt, which says this. should this be based on absolute life or percent life? And yeah, I'm leaning toward percent life. So for example, if the golem is level 1, then they might have 100 out of 100 life. And let's say the archer is level 12, they might have, I'm just making up numbers here, 500 out of 500 life. So in both cases, they're both at, the archer is better, or at least equal in both ways. They're both at 100% life, and the archer has more life overall. I don't know what's going to happen in this case. But in this case, so now it's like the archer has, 99.9% life, and the golem has 100% life. So in this case, the golem would get hit. I think that's what you'd want to have happen. Yeah, I think that's what you'd want. All right, I think I'm going to change this. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep this. So how do we test this now? I guess we just do exactly what I said. Just make the archer higher level than the golem. And then put them both in battle. No, it doesn't have to be the archer specifically. It could be anybody. All right, so we got to unlock all adventurers. We have the golem. This is innate, so I don't need to do anything. And let's put someone who can't dodge and someone who does not have taunt. So yeah, the mage. And let's level them up a bit. So now they have 240 life. The golem has 165. Yeah, so that's our test. So the golem should get hit, I think, every single time in this battle. But the battle won't last for very long. Golem got hit. The mage got hit. Oh, wait, no. I said that wrong. Oh, actually, now I'm not totally sure how I feel about this. Because, yeah, in this case, sure, whatever. But the golem has 99% life, and the mage has 100% life. Now the mage could get hit. All right, I don't know. I don't think there's a correct answer here. I think it's really just opinion. What does the ability say again? When you have the most health. Yeah, let's just leave it as it is. I think it's fine. Just discard this. So we're not going to do this. Add more contrast for this button. What is this button? Oh, the start battle button. I think we've already done that. Yeah. At least when it's enabled. Yeah, you can see it. Should be absolute value. No one thinks most in terms of percentages. The only thing that I think confounds that a little bit is just that all you have to go off of is life bars. So when all you see is this, then you might be like, oh, the paladin is missing like this much life. Why did the golem get, or sorry, I'm phrasing it stupidly. Let's say this is the golem. The golem's missing a ton of life. Why did they still get hit first? And it's like, oh, because they have the most absolute life, even though these are at full health. But yeah, sure, we're leaving it how it was. And I don't think players are going to notice or care. This is already done. And allow quick move just on mouse over. I don't think we do this, but I think we did change this so that if you have the quick move menu, then I don't have the money. No, I do. If you have the quick move menu, you could turn it off. I don't think you can turn it off when you have it open. No, you can't. But you can turn it off through the settings, so we can turn that off. And now it won't show unless you press shift. And you can do it before or during holding the item. Wait, now it's showing. Oh, because yeah, there we go. So if I want to show it now, I can press shift and there it is, and then use it, and then not show it for other things by turning it off. And now I won't see it. And you can still use the shortcuts, except for the shop is full, so I can't. But using it just on mouse over. So what people kind of want to do is be able to just like hover over this, press 1, hover over this, press 1, hover over this, press 1. I don't know how I feel about that. Let's just file it as an issue for later. Quick move. Controller support. Quick menu doesn't always work. Yeah. Consider allowing the quick move menu to work without having to click at all. What this is really saying is let you press 1 to 5 on the keyboard to quickly move items. I'm not sure how I feel about this. Yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else to say. All right, that's done. Next up, Melmsy suggested that we could have more fanfare for better loot. Maybe we can have the chest graphic change depending on how much loot or use different animations. I think this is a good suggestion. I don't think we're going to get to this. Make sure they explain the guild supply stuff. I don't think they do. No, but the guild supplies themselves have something written on them. Bring this to the guild to power up the rogue. Bring this to the guild to power up the witch doctor. Bring this to the guild to power up the mage. Yeah. You can find this item from treasure chest. Yeah, I think that's all kind of there. All right, to make it feel like you're progressing, the rare key things will probably cost a lot. Yeah, that's already changed. Look at this sentence. Permanently upgrading a perk for bone mode would be kinda. Kinda what? I probably meant kinda cool. But yeah, I'm not going to do that. You need to make sure issues from this comment are fixed. What is this comment? GitHub. Yeah, they're all fixed. Also need to fix this. Button on the left is normally green, but I mouse down, drag the mouse, then mouse up so to be focused. The focus state makes it look disabled. This is probably still an issue. Like when people say they can't even. Yeah. No, it's not an issue anymore. Huh, okay. Well, both these are fixed. Ooh. All right. So I think we got to do like an hour of this every single day from now on. Except for that's not how I operate, so I'm not going to actually do that. But how many characters do we get rid of? We're down to 4, 6, 9, and 9. Yay. So that's like 10% of the to-do list. And imagine if we can get done with like 5,000 characters every day. Just take 10 more days. Also, at some point, that's pretty much what we have to do, or at least that much. Like I said, we have about 100 days until we launch. So if we were to just spend, well, this took an hour for about 5,000 lines to be gone. So it'd take another 10 hours if we kept up at that pace, which we couldn't. I think some of these are going to be longer. And then we have the GitHub issues. We have other to-do lists and everything. Yeah, measurable progress. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I think we're on the right track. I'm just panicking a little bit. just a little. That's what we do. I reviewed Kevin's keybind PR again, and then worked on my to-do list. Removed about 10% of the 52K characters. Is that where we were at? 52,000? Did I close that? Yeah, 52,000. Okay, so we'll bump this down to Friday. Bump this down to Friday. Bump this up to here. Tab that in. All right. Oh, I have that on my list already. Yeah, I hope my lighting looks normal again. I did buy 2 light bulbs the last time one of these burnt out. So now I have no extra light bulbs. But I didn't know where it was when I was streaming yesterday, which is why I was in the dark. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna go get food. I think that's it for the morning stream. It's actually a pretty decent amount of time. It was 3 hours and 3 minutes. So this was pretty solid. Tomorrow, I definitely want to start focusing on controller support because I want to see how much time this is going to take. How much time will this take to do? Yeah, I don't know. All right, let me go find someone to raid. Oh, hey, Honest Dan's online. I want to raid Honest Dan. So he's doing a charity stream or set of charity streams all this week. I don't want to toss some love his way. Hey, dang good. And thanks. Yeah, so thank you all for watching. I'll be back online tomorrow. It should be a full day of streaming and not just 3 hours. So it should be about 6 hours. Let's go check out Honest Dan. Thanks for being here. See ya.